honesty. I think family, community service, and I think allowing each other to be themselves, to be who you are, without the notion of control. I don't think that any one value is more important than the other. I think they're all even. They all have equal value in our lives. With you, I really feel that because we connect on so many levels, and you are me, and you're a part of me, we're one. Truly, we're one. We have our differences of opinions on some things, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that we connect. We're in this together. We have the same goals. We have the same interests, and I feel like spiritually we're compelled to do the same things.
And also value our communication.
Yeah, that's another one.
Because even when we have differences, we differ on things, at the same time we communicate about it. We don't
keep it in.
Argue.
Right.
We don't. We discuss.
Right.
And then we work through it.
Yeah, but I think it's important to understand that it's not that I discuss a thing with you because I want to change you. I discuss a thing with you simply to share how I regard it. And you can choose to deal with that however you want. It doesn't matter to me. What's important, well, two things are important to me. First is that when I communicate whatever this thing might be to you, I don't want to communicate it from a place that ends up hurting you. So it's important to me to be able to communicate what I feel is important to me to you in a way that doesn't disrespect or hurt you. And it's not, again, to the point for the purpose of getting you to do anything. It's just, the only thing I want you to do is hear what I'm saying and understand that this is how I view it. And that's it.
So, of course, family comes first.
Yeah, family is first.
Family comes first, and I hear somebody coming
oh,
in
yeah.
the room. Yes.
Yeah, family is first, and everything that we do, it's always about family.
Right, and that's one thing that I think I get that question a lot is how do you deal with being a young entrepreneur, business owner, and also raising 5 children and cooking the food, working from home, and homeschooling? And what I can say to that is each day is unique. Each day is brand new. And just knowing that we put family first, everything that we do can include our children. So if I'm making jewelry, I can include my children by giving them a project to do. By doing jewelry.
Or when we mash avocados.
Right. If it's lunchtime or snack time, I include them. We include our children in the process, and they're learning how to prepare food. They're also learning chemistry. They're learning math. So every subject that you would learn in public school or private school, you can also teach your children in the kitchen or in whatever type of work that you're in. So we include our children in quite a bit. Another value is respect.
Yes.
Respecting each other. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Respect is a big one. And part of respecting other people is respecting yourself. And when you come to a level of self-respect, you will respect those around you who offer you levels of respect. And one thing I can say about my wife and I, we've always been very respectful of each other.
Right.
Yeah, from the beginning.
He's tired.
You tired? You tired?
Baby's tired. And I think it's very important that we respect each other and treat each other like we'd like to be treated. And if we are 2 parts of a whole, then we wouldn't want to hurt part of ourselves.
Another one is honesty. And I think that's a huge one, is being able to be as honest with each other as possible. And we've always been honest and very forthright from the beginning. And honesty goes a long way, because when you can trust someone, it just makes the relationship a lot smoother.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, when you can trust someone, it minimizes drama as well.
Right.
Yeah. A lot. I can say a lot of the drama that people get in relationships is
lack of trust.
Yeah, it's lack of trust. Yeah, sometimes people make up stuff because they don't trust the other person. The other person ain't even done nothing.
Right.
So here comes the drama. And another one we have here is support. And that's a huge one.
Yes. And one of the quotes that you had recently was, if my wife is blooming or blossoming in a certain area in her life, then I am too.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So if I'm doing really well in something and I'm growing in a certain area of my life, then that means that you're growing in that area as well. So we have to support each other.
Yeah. Yes, baby. What is it?
Nothing.
Nothing? You want to come sit down?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Okay, but you have to be quiet, okay?
Okay.
All right. And that's the other thing. One of the principles we work with is the wholeness principle. And that's where you don't see your mate as being outside of yourself. You see them as being part of you. And that's why when you're on the prowl as a predator with this predator mentality where you're out there dating or trying to find someone, or that approach is based upon this predatory type of orientation where you perceive your mate to be outside of you. So you got to go out there and go prowl like some kind of animal to go find. Well, that's the division in and of itself, and that's the foundation of the relationship, is based upon division where you see yourself outside of, and no man should see himself outside of a woman, no woman should see herself outside of a man from the beginning. And as it relates to a relationship, for instance, with my wife and our relationship, I don't see my wife as being outside of me, and she don't see me as being outside of her. We're part of the whole, right? So anytime I can support her, I'm actually supporting myself in whatever success she has. I'm experiencing that success as well.
Well, for me, the first thing is just the support. Like just to support each other. Like I'm her #1 fan, no matter what she does. I'm there to support her. I'm there to pat her on the back. I can't say that I've always been one to be cheerful for her sometimes, and I had to learn how to appreciate the good times when she's happy about things and I'm still down. But support to me is #1. Like, she's my #1 fan, and like, she supports me on everything that I do as much as I support her. And then I'm a father of 2 young girls, and you want them to be able to when they get older, they're gonna judge a lot of their men by the character of their father. So just being a family.
One of my core values is definitely God. This all started with the prayer, Lord, give me what I need when you're ready for me to have it. And just walking the way that He has told me to walk. And doing what He's told me to do, even if I've been angry, or, I mean, there have been times when I've been angry and then listen, but there have been times when I've been angry and did listen and was thankful for it. And I'm thankful for my husband. Of course, honesty is important, and making sure that friendship is really important. That's really, really important.
You're my best friend.
That's why I ain't say nothing, because I knew he was eventually going to ask that. Yeah, friendship is really, really important. And remember that that person that you are in a relationship with, that you are married to, is, well, hopefully that person's your friend. But sometimes I'm able to think of him separately. Then I don't just think about that, you know, this is my husband and this is supposed to be this way because you're my husband. I can think of him as my friend and be empathetic and sympathetic to the fact that he is my friend and how this makes him feel, not just that he's my husband.
To maintain a healthy relationship, I think first and foremost is definitely communication. That is key. I think communication is what keeps the lines open and that we're able to understand one another. I also believe that in a healthy relationship, you need to know the person that you're with, your partner. You need to know what triggers them and do your best not to trigger it. Because if you know what triggers that person, then it would never be your intention to want them to be angry or disappointed or frustrated. I think that's one of the biggest things for me is communication.
I agree that communication is one. I think another thing is that you have to not have any baggage. I can't have a healthy relationship with you if I'm still holding on to some negative or adverse baggage from a relationship I had in the past. You're not the one who did it. That other person did, or maybe I wasn't mature enough to understand, or whatever the case may be. But that's an entirely different situation that you had nothing to do with. And so for me, in addition to the communication, I have to be ready as a human individual to have a healthy and sustained relationship by not having any baggage, anything to weigh us down in our relationship from our past. I think that makes or breaks a relationship oftentimes, because when things occur in life, you build up ideas around them, and they inform how you interact with other people. And I feel that one of the reasons why we have so many challenges in relationships today is because there's too much adversity that people have not let go. And they just carry it on with them for all their lives, and you never find the happiness that they can't have.
Or they transition out of relationships too quickly.
Right.
And into another one.
They don't grow.
Exactly.
And they
themselves.
don't. Right. Yeah.
So growth of oneself is important.
But I also think you got to have fun together. You have to have common interests that are more than just the sexual, or more than just the physical. I think you have to have an intellectual connection with the person. I think on a business tip, you have to have some type of common business interest. The way I came to a realization years ago that if people could conduct their relationships the way they conduct themselves in business, we'd have a lot more healthy relationships. And so I think for us, because we do have a business together, that just complements us, because now I get a chance to see you in a lot of different ways. We can share this journey in so many different levels, and this is cool to me.
It's cool to me too.
There's this misconception that you have to work hard to establish a healthy relationship.
Right.
And that's not true at all. It's actually easy.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be. If it's a positive relationship, why should it be hard? The way that it becomes difficult is when you're not in a positive relationship. And if you're in a negative,
to work hard to.
That's right.
To fight and argue. And people ask us all the time, how is it that you don't argue? We just don't.
Yeah, we don't.
We avoid arguing with each other by not bringing up things, not talking to each other in ways that are disrespectful. And it also goes back to the way that you were raised, and having to see your mother go through certain things with your father. You knew you didn't want to have to bring that into our relationship. And of course,
it's interesting too, because people, they think it's normal. They think it's normal to argue with each other. But why? I mean, for me to argue with my wife is like me arguing with myself, because she's part of me, the wholeness principle.
Right.
So the notion of arguing, that's one of the things. If you are arguing in a relationship, you're spending a whole lot of energy that could be used to maintain a positive relationship. And I've always contended that it's not difficult to maintain a positive relationship. It's difficult to maintain a negative relationship.
We didn't argue even in the beginning of our relationship.
Yeah, and we had a few disagreements, but we didn't argue about stuff.
And there's ways to work through disagreements without disrespecting each other. So I think that's something that is important for us to be able to share with you all. We don't experience that, and we have 5 children, and we don't want our children to see us arguing with each other.
We set an example.
Yeah, and if there's something that we disagree about, we find a way to talk to each other about it. With having 5 children, we don't really have the time.
We don't have time to be
to deal with disagreements in a way that takes all of our energy, away from our children.
Or being mad for
days.
You don't have time for that. But just know that if you're in a negative relationship, you're in a negative relationship for a reason, and it has nothing to do with the person that you're with. Because if you ever find yourself, you wouldn't be in a negative relationship in the first place. You wouldn't even put yourself through that. It's almost like self-sabotage and self-inflicted suffering. And if you come to a point in your life where you value yourself because you've worked on yourself enough, you're not going to even put yourself in a negative relationship.
This is this has a lot to do with self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of what you and I both work with, especially you with your consultations, is dealing with self-esteem issues stemming from childhood,
mm-hmm.
and building yourself up and knowing that you're worthy of love,
mm-hmm.
worthy of respect, worthy of positive relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that you had really good experiences
mm-hmm.
with helping people with that.
Yeah, and that's a huge issue right there. If you really value yourself, you're not going to put yourself in a negative relationship. You won't even waste time. So for some people, if you're in a negative relationship, there's a reason why, and it's not so much because of what the other person is doing to you. It's what you're allowing yourself to be put through, and you agree to that relationship. It's like signing a contract, so therefore you have to deal with the consequences of that. But if you really take the time to work on yourself, and I did that prior to meeting my wife. I know she was working on herself, she was figuring things out too. If you do take the time to do that, the universe will bless you with the people who will assist you in that process. Mm-hmm. And my wife assisted me in that process, and I assisted her in that process, and that was the foundation.
Still working.
That's
we're still
right.
working on ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And that's the foundation of our relationship, as opposed to I'm a predator out there on a prowl trying to find me a date. Okay.
Temporary.
That's right. I think self-worth is the first place what people must consider, and how you value yourself. And then of course what we talked about earlier with communication, all that stuff, that's part of it too.
For me, it's being able to deal with the uncomfortable times. Like a lot of people, that's when they call it quits, when they don't want to deal with the uncomfortableness that happens in a relationship. So they like, forget it, I'm out, that's it. Like, I ain't got to deal with this. So with us, we've learned, even when we was upset, we was able to talk out things.
In the beginning of our marriage, when we would get mad at each other, we would do that thing where you know, they say you shouldn't go to bed mad, and that's true. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning of our marriage, we did. So we've come a long way, and even our communication has a long way, and come a long way, and even how we deal with each other when we're upset has come a long way.
And even learning how to take the blame. That's a biggie. A lot of people don't want to take the blame. And sometimes, if you're wrong, you gotta say you're wrong. You know, a lot of people would try to, oh man, look, it wasn't me. No, darn well it was you. So just take the blame. But and a lot of times,
that's a pride thing.
Yeah, a lot of times I say, men, for the sake of not arguing, we won't take the low road and say, look, all right, I was wrong. That's it. Like and then that's the end of the argument. Now you just have a conversation. It's when you try to deny it when the argument comes in. But if you fess up, oh yeah, let's this, that, the third, let's work through this. Then you get a lot more done, and your relationship can grow from that.
I have girlfriends that, let's say their husbands, they were still going out and hanging out with the guys. So they would say, oh, he's going to do that, I'm going to do the same thing too. And when you play a tit for tat, you really just end up being hurt. Especially lots of times, that's not what the woman wanted to do in the first place, and they're only doing it because their man did it or because they want to get back at him. If you decide to do that same thing to your man that you're upset that he did to you, guess what? The cycle is just going to continue and continue, because you'll be doing the same wrong thing and he'll be getting back at you and you'll be getting back at him. That was never a game, thankfully, that I played. And I'm thankful that I didn't, because I don't think we wouldn't have lasted this long. 10 years, and we wouldn't be where we are now, to where there's no need to even play such a game. But I would definitely tell a young couple, and you also have to seek wise counsel.
Yes.
So you cannot if I have a girlfriend who is divorced, okay, and I am asking about my marriage. If you want to talk to somebody about your marriage, you talk to somebody who has a healthy marriage. you don't talk to somebody who's already been divorced, because that's what they gonna tell you to do. Girl, you better leave him.
You better get
Girl,
right
I remember
now,
when my
girl.
husband did that to me. Or the guy's gonna say the same thing. Hey, come with me. You know, we can go out, check out these girls or whatever y'all talk. But and it's important to have married friends. Whatever. It's important to have married friends. That's important to have people. And even if you have single friends, you want to have friends that want to see your relationship do
that
well.
Respect your
relationship. Respect your wife or your husband. They respect and they want to see you guys survive. Because if not, they're gonna be pumping the wrong information into their heads, and that's not helpful to your relationship.
What she said, seek wise counsel, like, and try to be around like-minded people. Like, if you try to find couples that are like you, that are young, happy, and want to do things and go out and
want their relationships to last.
Don't not around a bunch of bitter dudes. They out there cheating on their women, cheating on their wives. They like, come on, you need to roll with me, man. This and that and that. Look, man, that old girl over there, man, we can get them. And you like, man, I'm going home to my wife. I'm going to my house. I got a bed to lay in. If I hang out with you, I ain't gonna have that. I'm gonna be out here with you, and you can still go home to your wife because
y'all both doing the same thing.
Y'all both doing the same thing. So, no, it ain't worth it.